All right, before we get started, a quick announcement, just in case you guys didn't hear outside. This talks about mastering your AppD environment. If you're interested in the United talk, that's in room 4. And I think we can get started at this point. So over the next 45 minutes, we want to share with you some of the work that the teams, multiple teams across the company have been doing to reimagine the platform. You heard some of that during the keynote today, and we'll dive deeper into some of those elements. And with me, I have on stage Fabian, who's leading some of the key engineering initiatives for this. I'm the product manager. My name is Akanksha Dewan, and I work across some of the elements that you'll see in this talk. So as we set out to reimagine the platform, the things that we really focused on was it has to operate at scale, and we wanted to make it really easy, even easier than what it is right now, as we get to bigger, better scale. And we'll get started with that. So this is a notice I'm sure you all have already seen throughout the days, so we'll skip over that. So you heard Bhaskar, David, and Kendall, and everyone talk about the AppIQ platform. A quick recap on, just in case you missed it, what does it really mean? The company started with a platform that was centered around application performance monitoring. Then, based on the feedback we got from our customers and partners, we added capabilities that were closely tied to monitoring end user behavior, and then diving deeper into the stack with more infrastructure visibility. But underneath the covers, there's a common platform that services all of this. It provides some core set of capabilities around MapIQ, Baseline IQ, which is dynamic baselining, and some advanced diagnostic capabilities. And starting today, we've also added Business IQ, which allows you to monitor your business and its correlation with the tech stack itself. As we look at all of this, the underlying infrastructure that supports all of this is Signal IQ, which helps us to kind of draw the signal, kind of separate the signal from the noise. And as you look at this entire picture, the thing that this talk is going to focus on is Enterprise IQ. What does that mean? As you all work for the largest enterprises out there, what are the common set of capabilities that help the platform scale across different teams, different organizations, and just different AppD environments? So when we started reimagining the platform, we had 4 themes that we decided we have to deliver on. The first was scalability. We wanted a platform that was horizontally scalable, both in terms of the metric data and the event data, but even going beyond into the metadata itself. After we achieved scalability, we decided that we had to also make it easier for our customers to both manage the agent side as well as the backend and the platform side. That's where some of the things we'll talk around Enterprise Console and licensing would come into the picture. Third, while this is all good, it also needs to integrate with your current operating workflows. So some of the advanced capabilities around self-monitoring and REST APIs that integrate, and some of the work that was announced earlier today around ServiceNow. Those are the kind of integrations that our APIs would facilitate, and we'll discuss that during the day as well. Finally, while the platform is already secure, security is something you want to continuously keep improving on. So we divide that into 2 categories. One is giving our customers and their admins better control through role-based access control so that they can decide what is the right security level for their environment, but also moving away from username passwords when you're dealing with REST APIs and facilitate API keys. So as we reimagine this platform, the team came together on this common term that this is basically building an enterprise-grade console. You have multiple AppD environments, which are multiple controllers, and they all need to facilitate the same set of services, and they all come together under the umbrella of Enterprise Console. The first thing that people touch in an Enterprise Console is we wanted to make it really easy for our customers to deploy the platform. That could be one platform. It could be multiple platforms. It could also be kind of taking the covers off and looking at the individual services within the platform. And we wanted to make it really easy, both in the command line, as well as some of the advances we are making on the GUI that we'll discuss in a few minutes. Once you've deployed the environment, we also wanted to align on what are the common set of management capabilities. We'll talk about licensing and configuration and upgrade management here, but there are many more that you can discover at the booths that we have going on. We are a monitoring company after all, so while we keep looking at our platforms and our SaaS environments, we wanted to give our on-premise customers the same set of capabilities so they can monitor how the individual services are doing, how healthy they are. And more importantly, our customers should be able to tell which teams are using which features so they can give us better feedback as we keep building out this platform. While we understand that this will help our customers scale, and we'll dive deeper into each of these, we do understand that some customers would always want multiple controllers. So, and that could be for organizational reasons or even geographic reasons. And that's where this concept of federation comes in. What this really means is we want to enable our customers to set up dashboards and really derive intelligence out of multiple controllers. And we'll have much more to talk about it in this talk itself. So we'll just go about this in the sequence, and I have the team with me here itself. So if you have any questions, we'll keep that towards the end. Starting with installation. Some of our customers have already seen, most of our customers have been using the command line interface, but we've completely reimagined what deploying AppDynamics through a GUI would look like. And that was one of the first goals that we talked about when we started reimagining our installation experience. Second was, once you've set up one platform, you could someday realize that your metric load is starting to expand or you need more capabilities around your event service. How do we enable our customers to add more hosts, add more nodes, just scale out the deployment based on your requirements? And finally, managing upgrades is something that our customers had asked us to just make it more integrated into the product itself so that so we've done some work that just showcases when service level upgrades or platform-wide upgrades are available, and you can easily select it in the GUI or the command line itself, and it'll be available. Finally, this ties into the manage element, where we've made some advances on providing our users more granular control. This builds on some of the concept that Bhaskar introduced today morning around rules and scopes and how that empowers AppD admins. And we'll walk through how each of these permeates through our different parts of the product itself. Once you've installed the product, before you even get to that, there's 3 ways that we'll be supporting installation. One is Express, which is for people who are just getting started with AppDynamics. Secondly, for our advanced users who know exactly the kind of JVM options they want to set, or what kinds of what kind of different credentials they want to provide to different services. We'll support custom installs. But more importantly, for customers who are already with us, we wanted to take them into this new enterprise console paradigm. So this is what the team calls discovery. It's as simple as pointing the enterprise console to the current existing deployment that you have, provide it the right credentials, and it'll discover and just take you to this new paradigm. And this is what the Express install screen would look like. It's as simple to just name the platform, provide the credentials that you need, choose the profile that most suits your current requirements, and as you submit, you'll be taken to this view which gives you real-time progress on each of the individual services as they're getting installed. One of the things we heard from our customers was, this is great in the success case, but when things go wrong and I need to understand what really went wrong with my deployment, we'll surface the errors right here. We'll go through the logs, and the team's done a lot of work to understand what are the kinds of issues that customers run into in on-premise environments. And as soon as an installation fails here, next to the service itself, you can just click and it'll tell you exactly what needs to be done. So both finding what's wrong and also coming up with a recommendation to fix it. Once you go beyond and you've set up your deployment, you get into the configuration pieces. We want to take the same kind of capabilities that our customers had in the command line, both extend them and bring it to a GUI, where you can now imagine changing the profile that you had initially chosen. Your deployment has expanded. You want to add more. You want to add more storage. So you can just change all that in the configuration settings itself. But you can even do advanced configuration that ideally would have been hidden in some config files, but the team's done a lot of work to surface it in the GUI itself. Changing things like the port for your database or changing advanced JVM options. It'll be done right there in the GUI itself, and you can go ahead and save, and it'll be done. If you want more hands-on experience with this, we definitely are covering this in the booths as well. Happy to take more questions. Once you're done with the configuration, this is building on the constructs of rules and scopes. So role-based access control is something we already had in the product, but what we've done is taken the same definition and extended it to different parts of the product. So the same kinds of granular control that you're already used to. You select the user, you select the kind of roles they want to, that particular user should be subscribed to. But more importantly, we also wanted to extend that consistent theme to other products. This is going to be new where even for database monitoring, you can individually select the kind of access that you want to give to each different role. So you can select which users can have which users can configure settings, which users are allowed to send emails. Those are all advanced settings that you'll be able to choose right there in the GUI itself. So just to recap what we've just covered, there's a lot of work that has been done to bring the GUI itself to parity with the command line, and then extend both the capabilities at the service level as well as the entire platform. Then extending this concept of rules and scopes to role-based access control and taking it to different parts of the product. And that's the same consistent definition that we'll be taking to all upcoming products as well. Finally, more advanced configuration as was available in some of the command line interfaces, but now surfacing that through the GUIs as well. And the consistent theme is we're scaling out the platform. How do we make sure that it actually becomes easier for our customers as we scale out? So while we understand that this might help a lot of our customers just deploy AppDynamics and scale out individual controllers, but I touched on this concept of federation across multiple controllers. And what we really mean with that is this use case. Say you have an e-commerce application that is running in controller A. It calls on an inventory service that might be based in another controller in a different part of the world. This could be because of organizational reasons or geographic. But what we really want to facilitate is the flow maps that you all see every day. They need to surface that kind of information, so you can now build correlation across multiple controllers. Then extend that as you're drilling down into transaction snapshots. You should not be limited to your current controller. We take care of all the authentication. As long as the user's role allows them access to the other controller, we want to make it very easy. As soon as you drill down, you can just access data from the other controller. Finally, as we are trying to build dashboards that go just beyond tech stack into the realm of business outcomes as well, just aggregating data across multiple controllers becomes really useful, and federation allows us to deliver on that. Finally, one of the things that you might have seen earlier in the keynote as well, we've heard all our customers as they've deployed AppDynamics through different parts of their organization, that they wanted a license experience that allowed them to better visualize the current usage as well as the historical usage that might be true for a particular agent type, or might go even beyond our non-agent products. Secondly, we wanted to take that definition of rules and scopes and apply it to licensing as well. So you can imagine your license pool and how it's being distributed to different parts of your organization, and you can restrict that access based on the applications as well as the machine pool. Finally, under the hoods, this is being implemented just like a metric, so you should be able to report and alert on this just like you would with any other metric in the product. So thanks a lot for this feedback. This came straight out of conversations with our customers. And at this point, I do want to introduce a small demo, and I'd like to welcome Fabian on the screen.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Akansha. But now I don't see it here, so that may be a challenge. Sorry about that. So as Akansha was mentioning, we have redesigned some of the licensing features, and you can access the licensing features now from the menu here, just as before, right? You go to license if you're an account administrator. And it basically takes you to our new peak usage reporting page, where we will report the peak usage of your licenses for a given time range. So currently it's the last 15 minutes. If I want to see what the peak usage was like over the last 6 hours, for example, I can change the time range. You can also choose a custom time range if you want to, just like other features around the controller. So this is now updated to kind of show over the last 6 hours what was the peak usage for all the different license module types. So we can see that .NET, for example, is currently maxed out. We also show you how many licenses are available, when they expire, and we also show you a warning icon if they're close to expiring. So we kind of give you some idea of maybe it's time to renew your licenses. Furthermore, if you now click on any of these, so let's say that I want to see my C and C++ usage, we actually graph the historical license usage. So you can actually track the license usage over time. So here's the last 6 hours. I can also go back a week or two. We keep this data for up to a year. So you can see that, okay, the .NET team the C++ team has increased their license usage over time. So they're deploying more agents.
So Fabian, this is great. This gives us a good sense of the historical usage. But one of the things that we touched on was, how do you allocate licenses across different parts of your organization?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we're currently on the first tab here, which is the peak usage for your account. We have the rules that we introduce here on the second tab. And here you can see we're imagining a financial corporation that has 5 different divisions. So here we've created a separate license rule for each of these business divisions. And associated with each license rule is a separate access key. And this access key is used by the AppDynamics agents to connect to the controller. So basically now I can distribute different access keys to different divisions or different teams within my company, and then they are only able to consume licenses up to the limit that's defined in that license rule. And you can also see that just as we do for their account, we do show and track the license usage for that license rule. So here we see over time how they have rolled out Java agents. We can see how many agents to consume. We can see that they're out of .NET licenses. They may need more. So you can kind of track the progress of the different teams within the company and see that, okay, maybe they need additional licenses. Or here, for example, in C, C++, looks like their rollout is a little bit slow. So I might want to reach out to them and say, hey, is there a challenge with this? Do you need some assistance with configuring these agents, or how can we help, right, if you're the administrator of AppDynamics? And as you can see, so let's see here, if we want to give these guys some more licenses, we can edit this rule. And you can see that here we have allocated 200 out of 1,000 to this particular rule. So if I want to go in now, and after speaking to this team, I'm going to say, well, okay, you need 250 licenses. I can go and increase this, right? And it says over-provision. So we also allow you to over-provision. So that means that you can actually allocate more licenses that you currently have. This is also very useful, for example, if you want to transition from a model where you just have the account access key like you do now to where you have one or more license rules. So you can keep both rules active while you transition teams over to the new rule, and then you can expire the old rule. So you can kind of do things like that with this over-provisioning mechanism. So another feature that we have introduced is this concept of application and machine scopes. So you can also restrict which applications the agents that have a particular access key can report to. So in this case, it says all applications, but I may want to restrict it to a particular application. So for example, I can select from the list here existing applications, but I can also add a condition here that says that, okay, for the institutional asset management team, I may want the application to start with, say, IMA, for example. So you can create these kind of restrictions. So for example, if you have a production deployment, you may want to ensure that agents in that production deployment report to an application named production. So you can do that now. So you can kind of add restrictions to the kind of configuration you want to allow in the controller. You can vice versa too. You may have a QA team, and you may want to say that, okay, this should report to a QA application or an application that starts with QA. Similarly, you can also restrict which machines agents are allowed to report from. So we're introducing this machine scope where you can specify which hosts or which IP addresses these machines can come from. So again, if you have a production data center, you can say that, okay, only agents in my production data center are allowed to use this access key. So you can create these kind of restrictions.
Great. So one thing I want to highlight at this point is while you can choose based on the regular expressions that support your current set of applications, this will also be dynamic. And tomorrow when you want to build more applications, these rules will automatically filter out and restrict access based on that. So thanks, Fabian.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so a quick recap of what we just covered. We've done a lot of work to make it really easy for our customers to deploy the platform, both at the individual service level as well as the entire platform. That extends to multiple platforms and in terms of capabilities also supports the command line as well as the GUI. And then we're bringing this new notion of an enterprise console, which is a common set of services that extend to all the different services within the platform. We introduce some new constructs like rules and scopes that allow better config management and also a completely redesigned license management framework. Third, as I mentioned, we're extending our REST APIs so they better integrate with our customers' existing workflows. Fourth, we are just strengthening our role-based access control and adding, just extending the REST APIs coverage as well. And finally, for our customers that would always be in in an environment when they have multiple controllers, how do they drive intelligence across those controllers, find the right correlation, build the right set of dashboards? And at this point, I want to just you can give us feedback for this. And the last few seconds, we do want to spend for questions. Yeah. You can go. Excuse me. Can we have a microphone? Thanks. We don't have one.
No, we don't have one here.
Okay.
I can get it. Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
Quick question on the screen you showed in your demo about the ability to filter based on the machine scopes.
Yeah.
Are you going to have a regex or similar pattern match in there? I only saw the ability to select individual machines.
Yeah, so that's a good question. Just to repeat, the question was when we are setting the machine scope, do we have the capability to set on regular expressions? If I can see my monitor, I should be able to scroll down. It's been a while since we practiced on Windows.
It looks like, it looks like
I
it
can't see
scrolls
it.
up. Because there are so many machines.
Yeah.
There we go.
There
Okay.
you go.
So I click add, and hopefully the same set of capabilities that were available for application scope, they're going to be available for machine scope as well.
All right, awesome.
Thanks. We've kept a lot of time in this session just for questions because we expected some questions, so feel free to take your time.
You said that the telemetry data for
Yes.
the controller will be made available.
Yes.
And, well, what about for SaaS customers? You know,
So
I mean, the way, just so you're aware, the way that works now is I sense something wrong with the controller or
Yeah.
see, a gap in data, and then I open a ticket, and sometimes that's an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours before we get a response. So if we had access to AppDynamics type data for our controller, even though it's SaaS, that would be mighty handy for us. If something's slow, we're not getting a response, we can go in and look ourselves, right?
Okay, just to repeat the question. So when we talked about the enterprise console, one of the themes we talked about was telemetry. So giving everyone visibility into their AppDynamics deployment and trying to get a sense of both the feature usage as well as self-monitoring. And how does that translate into a SaaS environment? So in terms of where we are with our SaaS requirements, so some of these capabilities are going to be available to our SaaS team as we roll it out. So you should be able to just get it from them. We haven't really had a discussion on how to surface that data for our SaaS customers, but happy to take that as a follow-up and figure out what's the best way to surface it. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to. Yeah.
I have a real quick question. What's
Sure.
the minimum version that contains all of these features?
Unfortunately, for legal reasons, I'm not allowed to comment on a release version for all of these. But in terms of where we are with the roadmap, the stuff you saw here, some of that is in very late stages of development, so you can expect them fairly soon. But in terms of some of the other things which we talked about are in design phase, and we're actively working with some pilot customers to kind of flush out the actual architecture that will be implemented. So they're kind of in different phases, and unfortunately, I can't comment on a release timeline.
We're automating our performance test process, so when they push out a version of the code, what happens is, what we envision is they're going to be doing performance test on the push. It's all automated. So what I'm hearing is that I can use the API when they build it's automatically builds the environment, that I can use the API to push out the agents.
Right.
And have that all automated. Then I run the performance test, then I destroy the stuff, and the information is out there.
Precisely. So the question is, when you're running in non-prod environments, can I use the APIs to automatically push an update to the agent and then destroy the environment when you don't need it?
And then the licenses go away.
Yeah, then the licenses go away. So we talked about some of this in the Universal Agent demo during the keynote as well. So that's more of the agent technology, but that's exactly the workflow you'll have to go through. Anish, do you want to add to that? Or?
That was good answer.
Okay.
I think the combination of the Universal Agent and REST APIs and license management allows you to sort of implement that scenario. All the different provisioning
So it's all very
automatically, you're configuring rules using the Universal Agent config.
Exactly.
And then allocating or revoking licenses when you start your performance test and finish.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to disappoint with the answer, but unfortunately, I can't comment on a release. No, it's not available now. Yes. 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 So there's a reason this one is in design phase. Those are the exact two approaches that the team debated, which one to take. What we're increasingly realizing is we might have to surface either of those based on where you are. On flow maps, it might be okay to just drill down and go. How do we